The worry thought is nothing more than how you're choosing to use up this present moment by consuming yourself with worry. Guilt is the opposite of that. Guilt is using up the present moment to be concerned about something that you did or didn't do or should have done or didn't do right, but you're still doing it in the present moment. So worry and guilt, in my book, Your Erroneous Zones, I call these the useless emotions. They're just useless because all they do is take you away from the moment and have you fill up the moment with something other than what you want to be doing, which is to be in a fully functioning, loving, present moment experience all the time. Just being in the now. And if you want to learn how to do that, go out and watch your animal, because I wrote a book years ago called The Sky's the Limit, and one of the chapters is called First Be a Good Animal. And there's so much that we can learn from the creatures out there. Like an otter isn't worried about, whether its mate is going to leave it 2 months from now or whether it likes somebody else better or any of those kinds of things. It's just in the moment, being an otter. Just be an otter. Just enjoy the moment. And you'll find that all of that other stuff will just pass exactly the way it's supposed to. It'll all unfold perfectly.
Wayne Dyer was an icon in self-development and spiritual growth. He wrote over 40 books, including an astonishing 21 New York Times bestsellers. His childhood was spent in orphanages and foster homes, but he'd go on to inspire millions and become known as the father of motivation. In this exclusive radio show provided by our partners at Hay House, Wayne Dyer explains how to reprogram your thinking, live in the moment, and truly enjoy your life. And if you want even more great Hay House content, check out their YouTube channel. We've linked it up down in the description below.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Wayne Dyer's Inspiration. I'm Summer McStravick, the producer of this program, and I'll be fielding all of your calls this hour. Welcome to everyone, and Dr. Dyer, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Feeling good. What's on your mind this week in the middle of the summertime?
Well, we're going to take some calls, but I just wanted to share one of the things that I think is really good to do for people, and I just did it this weekend, is go out into nature and really escape from all of the noise and the confusion and all the obstructions and all the people, all the cars, all the sounds, all the noises that are in the normal everyday living that we just sort of accept, all the beeping and the air and the blowers and the trucks and the lifters and noise. And there's something about the noises of nature. And this weekend, I live over on West Maui, and I went over halfway over to a place called Hana, which in Hawaiian means heaven, and went to a wedding of my yoga instructor. And she married someone from New Zealand, a Maori. And the whole group of people went out there, and the only thing that we could do out there for the entire weekend, there was 150 people out there, is to camp. So we had to bring tents and sleep outdoors in the camps, and then swim in waterfalls and pools for the entire weekend. And it was just really magnificent. And then the night up there, and this is a rainforest, so it rains almost every night. And it rained and rained and rained so hard all throughout the night, from about 1 o'clock in the morning until about 5. And of course, the water started coming in under the tent, and it was just one of those kinds of experiences where normally you won't have to worry about whether you're going to get wet when you're sleeping, and you don't have to do be concerned about what bugs are going to be coming in and all of that. It was a wonderful, terrific experience. And I recommend, especially if you're feeling a little tense, feeling a little out of sorts or worked up or nervous or depressed or whatever, is return to your nature. That's what Lao Tzu taught me in the Tao Te Ching, that you'll find God not in some bearded white man floating around in heaven as a sort of a cosmic bellboy, waiting for you to give orders or ask for things. That much more you'll find God or source or spirit in nature, in all of the wonderful ways that nature is presented to itself. And getting out there and experiencing it and living among it and listening. I would go away to meditate just because there was a whole bunch of kids there and so on. I would just go 100 yards away, and any place that I would sit, within 10, 15 feet of where I was, there was probably 1 million little creatures, just tiny little bugs, little this, little crickets, little noises and all of that. And that's every cubic inch of space. There is, it seems, something out there that's alive and something to experience and to know. And it's a good way. Nature is extremely healing. It's very therapeutic. I felt very, very peaceful and enjoyed it very, very much. So my recommendation for this week is spend a little time in nature, and you'll find God. Okay?
Reconnect with the earth, in other words.
Yeah.
When you said Hana, is that the tiny little
Hana.
town it takes like a 6-hour drive through switchbacks to get to?
A lot of
I believe I've
switchbacks.
done that.
Yes, it is. It's not quite 6 hours, but it's
with
about
a
4,
2-year-old
3.5.
and a 5-year-old
Yeah.
in a car seat, it's
Yeah.
6 plus.
We have we call that our trip from hell one time that we did. We took 5 of our kids, and they were 5. We had 5 under the age of 8, and we took them all. We hired a limousine many years ago, and they prepared meals and all of that. They took that, and the first kid got a little bit car sick, and she threw up. Then, of course, the smell of the throw up in the back that made the next one. So 5 of the kids. By the time we got to Hana, where we were going, even the food in the back had been. It was not a pleasant. It was one of those things.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It's very much motion sickness and switchbacks. Yes, so that's Hana.
I think I remember that. That's
it's called
the first
the road
thing that came
to
in
Hana.
my mind.
Yes. Those of you who are coming to Maui, when I do my seminar here in October, the weekend seminar on Excuses Be Gone, you might want to take a look at that trip over to Hana. It's quite an experience. All the way
Beautiful.
over there, there are waterfalls and there are pools to swim in, and
yeah,
I could go on and on about what it was like to swim in. I did a 45-minute swim in one of those pools, just back and forth under a waterfall, and the energy of that was it took away some congestion and things that I had had. So it was really powerful. And now tomorrow morning I'm getting ready to leave for San Francisco and to do filming for my new film, which will be out in January, called From Ambition to Meaning. The star is Portia de Rossi, who is Ellen DeGeneres' partner. And she's also the star in her own right of Ally McBeal in Arrested Development, and she's going to be the star of this film, other than Wayne Dyer, of course. Now I'm a movie star, and I'm trying to tell them I want my people to meet with your people, and I'm starting to talk the Hollywood kind of talk. I want a trailer that's bigger than anybody else's trailer because I'm the star.
You're demanding your certain type of water bottles, and
right. And if there's any questions, I'll have my people talk to your people, and they'll do lunch and have quiche.
All right. Let's get out of that. Let's get away from that right away. Let's get back to nature here.
All right.
Okay. We have, first of all, Maura. She's calling today from Dayton, Ohio on line 3. Maura, welcome to the program. You're speaking live with Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Hi, this is a dream come true.
Hi,
and speak
how are
up
you?
as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, I'm in my office, so I'm trying to talk a little low. So can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. First, I want to tell you, you have changed my life tremendously. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You're a true blessing. And Summer, actually, I was listening to your show, Flow Dreaming, today, and you talked about envisioning presents, like you're a kid on Christmas Day opening presents. And I had this feeling overwhelm me today with that. So this is truly a present.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Nice.
How may I help you, Maura?
Well, I just made a career change, which is really to the positive. It's a wonderful opportunity for me. And at the same time, my husband is in a transition too, and he's following something he's always wanted to do. My problem, or I shouldn't say problem, but I have this feeling, and I don't know why, that while he makes this change, that he is going to find someone else that is more suiting for him. And I've thought this way for quite a few years, and actually I had this same situation in my last marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened. And I know how we think and we can manifest things. And I don't want, that's not what my intention is. And I don't know why it comes up.
Well, it comes up because it's been your life experience, and you live in great fear of the same kind of thing replicating itself in your life, and probably are thinking, especially based upon all of the things that you've learned, that you attract into your life exactly what you need at exactly the right moment and the right time. And, you become what you think about, and then you did that. And so now what you've done is you've trained your mind. It's a lot of what we do as we get older. We start using the second half of our life to sort of get over the things that we did in the first half of our life. And with a marriage, very often you start using your second marriage to get over the things that you had to deal with when you were in your first marriage. And if you can understand that that thought is something that you want to be very cautious about. If I were going to have that thought, instead of saying this is something that I'm terrified of and that I fear, I would be putting it into a different perspective, that whatever it is that is your dharma, your relationship to this person that you're married to, and that you love very much, if it is to come to an end, and if it's to come to an end in some way that is very similar to what I did the first time, then I'll handle that as well, whatever it is. But right now, I want to put my thoughts on where I am, because I've said it so many times on this program, everything that ever happened to you in your life, and especially in your last marriage, happened to you in the present moment. And everything that's going to happen to you in this relationship is going to happen to you in the present moment. That is, the future and the past are nothing more than illusions. They all occur in the present moment. So your relationship to this marriage is really your relationship to the present moment. So rather than focusing on its ending and some, kind of disaster that you just have imagined for yourself, imagine that whatever it is that comes along, you'll be able to handle it. And if it's and if there is somebody out there that is more suited to be with your husband, and that's 10 years down the road or what it is, then that's exactly what you'll handle when that were to show up as well. In other words, get the disaster out of it. Get the, I call this disasterizing, just getting yourself all worked up. There's an old saying that says, I'm an old man and I've had many troubles, most of which have never happened. Mm-hmm. And, it's like these are all things that we create for ourselves in our mind. Just know that whatever it is that is coming your way in this relationship, know that it is all for your highest good and for your husband's highest good. And who could ask for anything more than that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You're right with that. And in a roundabout way, some of those thoughts too have come about. I'll handle it as it goes, but I don't like having that feeling. And I really, I do daily affirmations where I'm trying to create more positive things with it. So,
yeah, but think of it like this, Maura. Think of because what you're talking about is something called worry, and worrying about what might happen, with all the possibilities and so on. Think of it instead of what might happen in the future. Ask yourself this question whenever one of those thoughts pops into your head. That is, why am I using up this present moment, which is all I get in life, all I'll ever get? Why would I want to use it being consumed with something that might or might not happen down the road? Why not instead say to myself that we're married, we're happy, we love each other, and I'm going to be in this moment and I'm going to enjoy. And the more you're able to do that and be there and send that worry thought away, because the worry thought is nothing more than how you're choosing to use up this present moment by consuming yourself with worry. Guilt is the opposite of that. Guilt is using up the present moment to be concerned about something that you did or didn't do or should have done or didn't do right, but you're still doing it in the present moment. So worry and guilt, in my book, Your Erroneous Zones, I call these the useless emotions. They're just useless because all they do is take you away from the moment and have you fill up the moment with something other than what you want to be doing, which is to be in a fully functioning, loving, present moment experience all the time. Just being in the now. And if you want to learn how to do that, go out and watch your animals, because I wrote a book years ago called The Sky's the Limit, and one of the chapters is called First Be a Good Animal. And there's so much that we can learn from the creatures out there. Like an otter isn't worried about, whether its mate is going to leave it 2 months from now or whether it likes somebody else better or any of those kinds of things. It's just in the moment. It's being an otter. Just be an otter. Just enjoy the moment. And you'll find that all of that other stuff will just pass exactly the way it's supposed to. It'll all unfold perfectly. And everybody who comes into our life, by the way, everybody who comes in, it's like a play. They have certain roles to play. Some of them in for the whole act. Usually, your parents and grandparents and so on, they're in for every act of the play. And some of them come in for a short time and then they leave, and some come back. And everybody's making entrances and exits, and ultimately we all exit the play, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's never worth. It's all of that anxiety and that stress and that fear and that worry. All you're doing is wasting the present moments of your life, filling them with something that you could otherwise be filling them with. And that's what I would be asking you if I were your therapist. Like, what is it that you could be doing in the moments when you're worried about whether your husband's going to find someone more suited to you? What could you be doing other than that? Supposing that your mind wasn't capable of thinking that thought, what would your life look like if you couldn't think that thought? And how would you feel?
How would I feel?
What if you couldn't think that? What if you just couldn't think that thought that you had that your husband might someday know? What if you couldn't think that?
I would be content. I would be happy with everything because we have a lot together. He's my best friend, and we have so much together now. I would be happy.
So
And
if you couldn't
I
think,
am
if you
happy.
if you couldn't think that thought, you would be happy. So the only thing that keeps you from being happy isn't your husband or isn't you, it's that thought.
Yeah.
And if you just decide that I'm in charge of what thoughts that I have, and so now you say, okay, you just go onto you use your imagination and you go into this imaginary place where you just assume I can't think that thought. My brain isn't capable of making the chemicals that are going to allow that thought to come to me. And then you start realizing that I am now content. You use the word, I'm content. You would be free, you would be joyful, you would be happy, you would be filled with And if you read the Tao, if you read Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, there's a whole chapter in there on contentment. That's what Lao Tzu was teaching us all. Just be in a state of contentment instead of wanting something or worrying something or being obsessed about what already happened. That's a great call. I'm glad you called this morning.
Thank you so much.
And I love you so much. Thank you, Maura.
I love you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God
Namaste.
bless you, too.
Thanks for your call, Maura. Well, Dr. Dyer, when we let go of that last caller, there was not much time before the break, but one thing Maura made me think about was how some of us worry obsessively about the past, and others, like Maura or myself, we worry about the future. She's worrying about something that's going to happen, and I notice in myself I tend to always worry about the future, but I never worry about the past. Do you think that's just our personalities or is human nature?
I think when we call it worrying about the past, I think that's a misapplication of the use worry, the word worry. I've always used any time you use everything you do in the present moment. So the question always is, why am I using up my present moment this way? Anything that you're using to think about what happened in the past, if it shouldn't have happened, I wish it wouldn't have, I was wrong, I was bad, I call that guilt. And the reason why guilt is a useless emotion is because it's just inconsiderate or inconvenient way of using up the present moment. If you use up the present moment to say, okay, I did this and I'm going to learn from it, I'm not going to do it again, that's not guilt. That's just called learning from the past. But if you're obsessed about it and worried about it and feeling sad about it, then you're just practicing, one of the most useless things that you can do, which is to feel guilty. Learn from it, but feeling guilty is a waste of the present moment, as is worrying about anything, really. There's a wonderful statement that my teacher in India used to say to me. He said, it makes no sense to worry about the things you have no control over, because if you have no control over them, it makes no sense to worry about them. And then he said, and it makes no sense to worry about the things that you do have control over, because if you have control over them, it makes no sense to worry about them. He said, and there goes everything that it's possible to worry about. You either have control or you don't. In either case, worry is a waste of your present moments.
So in any instant, you should just ask yourself, do I have any control over this? Yes or no?
Right.
And move on.
And the answer, and that's what the Serenity Prayer is really about. And grant me the wisdom to know the difference between the things I can control and the things I can't control. And for sure, you can't control anything that's already happened. You just can't control it. Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Good distinction there. How about we move to Amanda then? We have a caller from Canada, Alberta, Canada. Amanda, you're on line 2. Welcome. You're speaking with Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Thank you. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello. I just wanted to say my mom and my sisters and I enjoyed you at the Las Vegas I Can Do You.
Oh, yes.
We listened to your lecture, and it was very good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you say I can do you? I like that, but it was I can do it.
That's what I heard, too.
I don't want anybody out there thinking, okay, what did Wayne and Amanda, what were they up to? I can do you in Las Vegas.
What was going on in Vegas? It stays in Vegas, guys. Okay.
I can do you in Vegas. I like that. I think we're going to change it to that. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
You Canadians, you're so bad.
What else is on your mind, Amanda?
Well, what's been on my mind for the last month is I have a tendency, I'm just looking for some words of wisdom. I've been feeling this deep resentment inside of me, and I feel like my ego jumps out at the best of times, and I'm trying to, really work hard at going inside my heart, but every time, a certain situation comes up, whether it's with my family or someone else, it's just, I feel like I'm going through my head, and I just would like to get some words of wisdom.
What kinds of things cause you to have this resentment?
Let's see. Well, I feel that, I've never been a person to feel this angry inside, and I've always come from peace and loving words, and lately I've been feeling that they're not coming out of me, and I'm doing my best to, do my affirmations or in my angel cards, but I've never been this way, and I'm not sure how to answer your question, but...
Yeah. How old are you, Amanda?
31.
31. Are you married?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've been single for about 4 years.
Uh-huh. You were married?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Just in different relationships.
I see. Yeah. I think sometimes when we use the word resentment about, what's happening and it causes us to go inside and express itself in angry words and so on, that's the time when you have to, it isn't going to be affirmations that are going to heal that for you. It's going to be there's like generally speaking, there's a wound in there someplace. There's some kind of something going on in there that you're not at peace with. And if you can, and it isn't even locating it as much as, I always like that quotation that I give from Moby Dick, from Melville, for as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man lies one insular Tahiti, full of peace and joy, but encompassed by all of the horrors of the half-lived life. And the half-lived life is what I always suspect when I hear what you're saying. Because likely you're not, you're 31, so you've moved into your 30s now. Now you look back and say, oh, my God, my 20s are gone already, and it's like, and here I am 31, and my next one's 40s, and then, oh, my God, that's just ancient, So it's like, and it's like you got to kind of get on with, what am I here for? What's my purpose? What is all of this about? And, the real purpose of life is to enjoy it, and if you're not able to do that, you have to go to that insular Tahiti and go to that place of inner peace and joy. Generally, the best thing to do is what Lao Tzu recommends, which is to start living the virtues. Start taking the focus off of yourself, off of me, off of my relationships, off of what's working and not working, off of my job, off of how much money I'm making, off of what my parents think or anything. Like all of that, like just take you out of the picture and suspend yourself. Let that ego part of you go. And instead reaching out and serving. Find yourself in a place where you can go out there and extend joy, extend peace, extend kindness someplace in some way to someone. I don't need to tell you how to do that because that's really easy to do. You can turn around in the next 5 minutes after you hang up the phone and do it. Just reach out in love in some way, or find someone less fortunate than you, or donate $20 to something, or whatever it might be. And the minute that you start taking your focus off of yourself, you become more godlike. You get into that place where you're starting to understand this is what it means to be God realized. This is what Lao Tzu meant when he said be Tao centered. Act like God does. Act like the source does. Act like the Tao does, and what does the Tao do? It's always serving. It's always giving. It's always concerned with abundance and providing and offering and sharing and loving and it's all natural. It's all natural. And I was thinking, you're in Alberta, and I can remember one time going into Alberta. Do you know where Lake Louise is?
Yes.
And have you ever been up there to Banff and Lake Louise?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. That would be I was thinking, I don't know how anybody could be unhappy or depressed or anything when they're in a place like that. That might be a really good spot for you to just go up there and contemplate and be, rather than focusing on Amanda.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you.
So head to Banff.
I will.
Lake Louise is calling you. It's the most. I think it's the most pristine, beautiful place in all of North America.
Well, I went there during my years of when I was in the choir in my junior high years, but I haven't been since. So I've been wanting to go somewhere. So.
That's the perfect place. I'm telling you. I could just for some reason I could see you meditating right by those mountains there and right in that beautiful spot.
Oh, good. All right.
So that's my little psychic ploy for today. Get you to Lake Louise and just be. And then see how much serving you can do, how much focus you can take off of yourself, and how much reaching out that you can do in the time, especially while you're on your way there.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks,
God bless
Amanda.
you.
Bye.
Namaste.
Appreciate it. All right, Dr. Dyer, we have Marie calling you now from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Marie, you're on line 1. Welcome. You're speaking with Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Hi, Dr. Dyer.
Hi, Marie. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to get to talk to you. I've been reading your books for years, and I love them, and they've been a big help to me.
Oh, thank you very much. I love your town. I've been up there many times.
Yeah. My question is, I'm feeling stuck, mostly in my career, but also in my personal life and finances, too. And I know I feel like I want to change, but I don't know what to do, so I just feel paralyzed, like I'm not doing anything. And then I'm frustrated because I feel I want the change but don't know what next step to take.
So the reason why you're stuck is?
Mostly it's centered around my career. I've been doing the same type of work for 28 years, and I stay with it because I need the money, and part of it is I'm self-employed, and it works. Part of it works as far as, like, I get to set my own hours. So I like that aspect of it, but I don't enjoy the work anymore. And it's draining to go to work. It just feels like it's sucking the life out of me.
Oh, well, then you just have you're all of the excuses that you're using for not, making that change, which are probably in the neighborhood. I wouldn't be as financially secure.
Big one, yep.
Other people in my family wouldn't understand that.
Yep.
There would be family drama that I would have to deal with. I would be frightened because I would be entering into new territory that I've never been in before, and it's not my nature to be risky. It's more my nature to be safe. Is that correct?
Right, yep.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be in the same place for 28 years again. See, all of these are, you're the perfect person. I want you to read my new book, Excuses Be Gone. I wish I had it done for you. It'll be done.
I cannot wait. I heard about it.
It'll be out next year. Yeah, and it's really about some of the stuff we've been talking about here today. It's like is to really go to look at the thoughts that you have, all of those excuses that I just laid out for you. If you were to ask the question, the very first question, I have what I call an excuses be gone paradigm. And this paradigm is like you ask yourself a series of 7 questions. The first question you ask yourself, is it true? And then you look at, where did it come from? And then you look at, what if I couldn't think these kind of thoughts? And then you begin to look at coming up with rational reasons to change it. But right now, for you have all the rational reasons in the world to change that, because the description that you just gave, it's gnawing at me, it's painful, it hurts for me to make those kind of changes. I always think, what if you couldn't think those kind of thoughts? What if that wasn't a possibility? And if you were totally free, if you were completely free and didn't have to worry about all those things that I just laid out, what would you be doing? What would you be doing that wouldn't make you feel so constrained and so, even unworthy of the kind of stuff that you're going through in your life? What would you be doing? Do you know?
I always lean towards the arts. Art, writing. I enjoyed it in school, and I still enjoy it. I just haven't done anything with it. I just got caught up in everything else, and I haven't. But I always go back to drawing or writing, and I've thought of writing children's books. I kind of dabbled it in about 10 years ago, and then I let it go and didn't do anything with it. But it still comes back to me.
What would keep you from doing that?
I think part of what happens is I have the idea, but then I know I do this to myself. I think too far ahead because it's like, okay, if I write something, then what do I do with that? I don't know what. I think I jump too far ahead. I don't know what steps to take.
Right. And that's a theme of what we're talking about here today. That's really so we get into this worry theme, about, so if I were to do this, then this would be the consequence. And then if I were to do this, and so instead of using your mind and your time and your life energy to be doing what you really, truly enjoy, which is the whole purpose of life, instead you're using it, the minute that you stop, you say, no, I'm not deserving of that. I'm not worthy of that. And then I'm not going to be able to make money. And what are my family going to think if I were to do that? And so all of that stuff that you twist, I call these memes, these are just the thoughts that we have had implanted in our minds from your parents and their parents, and endlessly it goes back into all of this worry stuff. And instead, the way out of it is to say, okay, the artwork. Someone I was on the radio show with last week named Magli in New York. I don't know if you heard the show, but she talked to me about painting that she had done of Lao Tzu. And I finally got it. It was sent to me. It arrived last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago we did that. Well, it's one of the most beautiful creations. In fact, it was so terrific that when I got it and I put it up on my wall, I was so inspired by it. I sat down and wrote her a check for $1,000 and sent it to her, just because I wanted her to know that her first painting deserved, that kind of reward for it. And I think she's going to be a very famous artist. And I would say the same to you. Instead of going through all the worry, anxiety, just be in the present moment. Just be in that and practice that a little bit instead of all that worry time.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
sweetie?
you so much.
Thank you. God bless you, my friend.
Let's find out what Blaine in Lindsay, Ontario has to say to you today. Blaine, welcome. You're speaking with Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Thanks, Summer. Wayne, this is a thrill to get to speak to you today.
Thank you, Blaine.
I was able to see you in Detroit and Toronto, and when I saw you in Toronto, it was the I Can Do It not like the other Canadian.
Not that can do me, right?
Yes, exactly. And
I'm glad you didn't say that.
Yes, and so am I. And I don't know if you remember in Detroit, my daughter had done up a wonderful letter for you, and she's still wanting you to do a kids meeting at some point with all the kids. You've made some great kids book, which we love.
Oh,
as well.
That'd be great. Yeah, I think I do recall that.
Well, that's me. Well, I sensed I needed to call today, and obviously I've gotten through, and I'm a little nervous, but bear with me. 3 years ago, your book Inspiration just hit everything, kind of set me on a different track, so it's been amazing. My question today is, I have a business that I've been doing for 15 years with my sister, and I really am kind of worried that we need to deal with selling it and moving on, and I've got a whole lot of different things that have come to me that I want to do, and I'm wondering if I've maybe giving myself too many things to jump into, or if I should narrow it down, or, and again, I always worry about doing the right thing and attracting prosperity and not doing something silly. So,
well, first of all, the attracting prosperity business is like, just know that that's the only thing that you can attract. As long as you keep your focus not so much on how's it going to happen, when's it going to happen, what is the divine timing, because divine timing really means it's already in much bigger hands than yours. And just constantly use the affirmation that it's on its way, whatever it is that in the way of prosperity is on its way. But you've been doing a business for 15 years. Is getting rid of that business or selling that business or moving on from that business, is that something that you can see happening for yourself, or is it a fearful thing?
Yeah, ideally that's what I would love to have happen, and we're kind of at the end of our current negotiations and agreements, so it would be a good time to try and sell it. But dealing with, being up, our upbringing was different thoughts than what you've introduced me to, was, almost like don't expect great things, and, work hard, and you may get some money or you may not, and assuming that it, that we won't be able to sell it. So those type of thoughts are there in my circle, I guess you would call it.
Yeah. Sort of the old idea that life really is a sexually transmitted, terminal disease. So that we're all just going to die anyway, so none of it is, but you don't think like that any longer anyway.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think for you, I mean, I don't know. I can't get a reading on anything intuitively, but I can just sense that whatever it is that you put your attention on, and if your question is, am I thinking too many things and having too much stuff come into me, that's the creative process. Like the creative source doesn't say, I'm making too many mosquitoes. Well, what about rose bushes? Well, I need to make some, antelopes and all. The creative source is in a constant state of creating, and there's never any restriction. There's never any limitations. It's just constantly giving, offering, and providing. And when you move into this kind of realization, which you must be, especially if you attended the conference in Detroit and so on, and you're thinking about these ideas, you're reading books like Inspiration, you have a deep knowing inside of you that you are totally unlimited, that whatever it is. I mean, I sit here right now at the age of 68, and I know that if I decided to change careers right now and just go into something completely different, something I had never even done before, being a sports announcer or whatever it is, that I know that it's all I would have to do is put my attention on it, and the universe would send me, the right people, the right events, the right circumstances. It would all just begin to show up. You almost get, it's hard to explain this, but you almost get a sense of that whatever it is I want to manifest or attract into my life, whatever it might be, that there's absolutely no limit to it whatsoever. And you get, the right word isn't arrogant, but it's the word that keeps going. You get almost like a knowing that is so powerful that there's nothing can dissuade you from it, Nothing can come in there and say, no, this can't happen, this isn't going to work, these are all the obstacles, these are all the reasons why. All of that stuff, that's the work of other people. That's the work of people in the past who have tried to make these, try to make your life safe and try to do the right thing by you, and all with good intentions, but always with limitations, and always with, you have to watch out for the outcome. Yeah. And now you're moving into that. You're moving into the same place that you're going to move into when you die, when you leave this body behind, when you just, this place of oneness. And oneness is a very difficult concept for us to grasp, because we're always in two-ness. We're always in, not just the thing, but the symbol of the thing, and what will happen, and what circumstances might. And we introduce conflict. There's always this inclination of the mind to go into this area of conflict, but what ifs, but But when you're in oneness, when you're in total oneness, you know it's all perfect. And every one of these thoughts that are bombarding your consciousness now, they're coming in there just to sort of wake you up and have you realize that there's absolutely no limits whatsoever. You just make the decision whichever way you want to go. Practice living the virtues, practice being out there and serving and honoring others and servicing yourself and God and our planet, and the right thing will come your way. I know that's a long, windy answer, but...
Well, I needed it all, I'm sure, and I have one major project that I want to lead forward to. It came to me when I was just reading your first book, and it actually woke me up in the middle of the night, and I had to draw it all out. And so I've been working on it for 3 years, and I always go back to your point of doing it just one step at a time, and not thinking it has to be here right immediately.
Yeah. But there's a big difference between, thinking, because I always say in the Tao it says think small, don't think big, because, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that step, that single step, and that's all you can do is just take the next step and the next and the next. But that doesn't mean that you don't have big vision.
No.
It doesn't mean, because in the Tao it says that Taoist masters or what they call sages, a sage accomplishes great things by thinking small, by thinking about what I can do in this moment. But you don't say that great things aren't going to come my way, and I'm not going to be able to, do all of those things because I'm focused on this moment. But the more you stay focused on this moment, like I've been writing this book on Excuses Be Gone since every single day since around the 1st of February of this year. And I just passed on last Friday, page 425 of handwritten pages. That's not how many book pages, but 425 pages I have filled by thinking about what I can do. But I've always had the vision of this thing being completed. In fact, I have a picture of what the book is going to look like before I even start the book there, so that I know that it's already complete. I'm just sort of filling in the pieces. I'm filling in the pieces. And if you can see yourself as doing that, and if you get pulled, and it doesn't mean I'm not doing other things. My goodness, I'm making a film. I'm doing, I've got all kinds of things that are going on. I'm giving lectures around the world. It's all over the place. But it's like there's just this kind of this knowing that this isn't me doing it all. It's like you get this awareness that you're letting yourself be lived by it instead of you living it. Just letting it take you wherever it's going to take you and being at peace with it. It's like that beautiful song I ended one of my PBS shows with. It says, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. There's so much wisdom in that. It's like row, row, row means do, work, 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 just whatever. More row your boat. Don't row somebody else's boat, and row it gently, always in harmony with God. And do go down the stream. In other words, don't go up the stream and fight it and all of that. And do it merrily, because in the end, it's all a dream. It's just all one big dream. We're all characters in God's dream. So there's great wisdom in that simple little song.
It sure is. Well, and you've got lots of it, and I thank God for you every day and what you've done.
Well, thank you, Blaine.
Yeah.
God, so nice to talk to you.
Thanks a lot, Blaine.
Thanks.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Take care.
Namaste.
Let's go now to Jennifer. She's calling from New York. New York. We hear a lot from New York. Jennifer, hi. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, Dr. Blaine Dyer. I have a car full of fans of yours.
A car full of what?
Fans. My dad, my sister, my mom, too. But we're all coming to see you in New York City, too.
Oh, great. In October the 7th.
Yes.
At the Jacob Javits Center. That's going to be great. That's always a wonderful night. That's when I always feel like, I'm a rock star,
It's just
because New Yorkers are so great, They're just, I love New York.
They dress up, too.
Yeah.
Unlike us in California and Hawaii.
What's on your mind, beautiful?
I'm just getting out of a very rough relationship, 4.5 years now, and I found out the whole time he was cheating on me. And I loved him more than I've loved anyone. I'm 31 years old now, and I thought I'd be with him, And and I'm not sure how I'm going to get past this because I need to be strong enough on my own to stay away from him. And
wait a minute, because we don't have too much time. How does he feel about this relationship breaking up?
He just will just deny and lie, and he'll just doesn't want me to leave.
So he's still in love with you, and you're still in love with him. And the reason why you can't be together, even though you're both in love with each other, is because he cheated on you?
Well, it's continuing distrust issues. There isn't any trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also...
But what is the trust center around? Is it around money? Does he steal from you?
Oh, no, he's a musician, and he has a lot of groupies.
Yeah.
So, and it hasn't changed.
But there's so much that we do with this. I wish I could, wish I had hours to talk about that. It's this whole idea that we believe that because you're in love with somebody else and that other person has, maybe expressed love towards somebody else or had sex with somebody else, or whatever it is, that makes it all impossible. And it's like we get this idea that, if you're not exclusive to me, that we're trying to really make ourselves into these monogamous creatures, who only have eyes for each other, and we fall in love with each other and we never look at anybody else. But gosh, my experience after all of these years is that that's just basically hardly ever the case, and yet we just have this sort of this standard that we have for each other. I would practice a lot of forgiveness here. I would really have conversations with him. I would tell him what hurts and why, but I don't know that I would, unless this person is just like a dishonest person in the sense of, really being abusive or stealing or things like that. If he just loves you, but has, maybe there will come a time when he can be in that place of being totally exclusively yours, but I hate to see two people who really adore each other and really love each other break up on the basis of something that just seems to be built into our DNA, this idea of looking out there somewhere else. And this isn't a justification for people cheating. It's more of an awareness that, that as human beings, we try to put standards on ourselves that sometimes there's something internal that within us that just won't allow it. And we try to fight that internal thing,
Yeah.
Does that make sense, or am I...
No, it makes sense, and I wish I could just feel that and be natural with that. I mean, he has been abusive in the past, but he's gotten much better. Like, he'll have a temper, but he's changed in that respect, and he has changed.
So we only have a minute left, so that's why I'm interrupting you. So he has shown that he's got tremendous growth potential. How old is this man?
He's 34.
I wouldn't give up on him yet, dear. I wouldn't give up on him yet. That's just my intuition with only 30 seconds or so to go. But I wouldn't give up. If this is a person who has gone from abusive to non-abusive, who has shown that he can grow, who is, he might surprise you. He might surprise you. He might surprise you a lot. I'd at least practice a little forgiveness. And even if you do let him go with love. Don't send him out of your life with anger and resentment and that he wasn't like you are. His DNA is different than yours. You got to love him for what he is. We love the things we love for what they are.
Well, thanks for your call, Jennifer. We've got to let you go right now because our show's wrapping up. Thank you, Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Okay. God bless you.
To watch another amazing Wayne Dyer video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
There hardly any of them will stand up to the very first question in the paradigm, which I'll talk about in a little while. They simply aren't true. You are literally running your life on thoughts that if you really examine them and put them to a very simple test,